Well, Frank Casella, who's on the back of this, he's got his motif. He's built his business by really picking out sort of artisanal family wineries from all around the world. He's got about 200 of them in his portfolio now. He started off in France, and then he sort of broadened his offering. Now he does obviously Argentina, South Africa, and he started with us about 2002. And one of the things he said straight away was he loved the Shotfire Shiraz. So the Shotfire Shiraz has been our biggest selling brand in the States. And then he said, well, love the Shotfire, but we want to have a fantastic value offering as well. So straight away we had Milton Park. Milton Park's actually the name of the winery, the name of the family property, I should say, where the winery is situated. And Chardonnay and Shiraz too. Well, Shiraz is the biggest selling variety from Australia in the States, and then Chardonnay is actually second. And from there, we had a little bit of Riesling, a bit of Merlot, but those two have always been the sort of the cornerstones of the brand. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And these days we've moved away from having that sort of bigger buttery style. You probably remember when we first had the Chardonnay in the market, we had more French oak. It was more rounded, a little bit sweeter in terms of the amount of sort of amount of oak and malolactic that's put on the wine.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas now we've gone the other way.
Okay.
So a little bit less about the winemaker and more about the fruit. So, and the fruit's coming actually, a lot of it comes from our own estate out in Crawford, and it's blended with a little bit of Pathway Chardonnay that we buy in as fruit. So.
Well, I was first introduced to Australian Chardonnay through the Hunter Valley, but I think with the Barossa being, excuse me, farther south, cooler climate, you're able to generate this style, which is more a little bit leaner, crisper, unoaked, but the fruit still comes through. Great aromatics, a lot out of the nose. For a young wine, it's really showing well.
Yeah. That's what people are looking for these days. There's been a whole movement. There's a movement for a while, sort of all about aromatic whites, and so you saw things like Pinot Gris come to the fore, and which is the biggest selling imported wine, I think, for white wine, at least into the States.
It outsell Chardonnay in some markets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Sauvignon Blanc from Marlborough, from New Zealand, has become big news. And so aromatics are where people are looking for something that's a little bit less about, as I said, like a single, rather than having a single glass by themselves. We'll have with food, want to match it to something. It's very hard to match those bigger buttery styles of Chardonnay. So hence, I think that's been food in Australia. I'm not sure what it's been like in the States, but there's been a lot of reality food shows in Australia, like MasterChef, where you get a whole bunch of contestants, and so people are thinking about food a lot more. I think people are cooking at home and going, well, hey, I saw her on MasterChef last night, great pizza dish, or it's let's try this, let's do that. And so it's been sort of the movement with wine too has been to how to match that. And I think it's a good thing. I think it's good for all of us, particularly in the wine business.